And we are rolling. Okay, first, a little disclaimer. Uh, my laptop is having a little technical difficulties, and the only way that I can get voice input into the computer is that I have to wear these headphones. And hopefully that's sufficient. But my name is Evan Jones. I'm here today to give a persuasive speech, and I'm here with an audience of 4 members. So if you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hello, my name is Nicholas Fries, and I am a student at Kent State University studying computer design and animation.
My name is Jarek Oates. I am a student at Kent State University, and I'm studying in digital sciences.
I'm Billy Bibby. I'm a member of the United States Navy for air traffic control.
I'm Ryan Henderson, and I am a Kent State University student, and my major is sports administration.
Excellent. Well, let's begin. So, my name is Evan Jones, as you all know, and today I will try to persuade you on why the current dwarf planet Pluto should be considered a planet and not just a giant hunk of space rock. So, remember the time back in your elementary school science class when the teacher would say, "Today, class, we're going to be learning about the solar system," and your heart was filled with joy and excitement. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and last but not least, your favorite, Pluto, the little brother of the planets. Then one day in August 2006, a group of scientists at the International Astronomical Union decided that Pluto was no longer to be considered an actual planet, but classified as a dwarf planet, according to Doyle Rice in a USA Today article in 2014. You were mortified by their decision because it wasn't fair to poor little Pluto. But now it's time to get our facts straight with Pluto. So, first of all, what exactly is Pluto? Pluto is a celestial snowball with a surface of methane ice 3.6 billion miles from the sun. The dwarf planet was discovered back in 1930 and was classified as a planet until 2006, of course. Pluto got its name from an 11-year-old named Venetia Burney from Oxford, England. The reason Pluto is considered a dwarf planet is the fact that it appears to have many other big rocks in its nearby vicinity, which means beyond Neptune, and it is apparently too puny to be called a planet. Speaking on the fact of actually being considered a planet, what exactly are the qualifications for a giant hunk of space matter to be considered a planet? According to the Library of Congress's Everyday Mysteries website, there are 3 qualifications that a space rock must achieve before it can be taken into consideration for planetship. 1. It must be in orbit around the sun. Check. 2. It must have sufficient mass to assume hydrostatic equilibrium. Now that means it just has to have enough mass and gravitational force to maintain a round shape. Also check. And third, it has to have a cleared neighborhood around its orbit. And that means over time it has to have clashed with asteroids and such with its gravitational pull, so it can become the gravitational dominant, it can have the most gravity in its orbit. So, not with Pluto, that's not so much check. So, number 3 is obviously where the problem lies. After billions of years, Pluto has not cleared its neighborhood of surrounding mass bodies, so it wasn't the gravitational dominant of the Kuiper belt that it is located in. So we know that Pluto has sufficient mass to maintain its nearly round shape, and it also has enough gravitational energy to keep its moon Charon in orbit. That's just one example. There's also 4 more moons that Pluto has. That sounds enough to be like a planet to me, even though it does overlap with Neptune's orbit sometimes. But that still means it orbits around the Sun, which satisfies the first qualification. So you might be thinking to yourself, why would I ever need to know this? I believe you should know the importance of Pluto because this is the solar system that you live in. Who knows, maybe in the future, with all the technological advancements, we could colonize most of our planets, and even the famed dwarf planet Pluto. I foresee about 200 years before could ever be able to do that, mainly because it took 9.5 years just to get there with the New Horizons, which is the fastest spacecraft to ever leave Earth, according to National Geographic. It would also take an estimated 12.5 years for a spacecraft with humans to reach Pluto. Also, think of the endless possibilities this could create to help the young people of today to want to know about space and what lies beyond Earth. So now that you know about the qualifications for becoming a planet and also the importance of Pluto as well as other space masses, what are some ways that we could help Pluto to become a planet? Are there actually ways we could help a planet at all? Yes, of course. According to a Learning Minds article, if we can move Pluto to another location, it could become a planet. That might sound crazy at first, but if you think about the sheer size of Pluto compared to Earth, Pluto has a radius of 737.6 miles. And I'm sure there's a way to relocate a giant space rock to a new position that isn't clouded by other mass in the Kuiper Belt. Or maybe repositioning it to help it actually become the dominant gravitational force in its system. Secondly, if we can adjust the definition of a planet just slightly, then Pluto it could be included in our solar system. I don't know about you, but this seems like a way more feasible answer to our dilemma. Sherry from Learning Minds thinks that adding a third classification of planets to our existing gas and rocky, which would be the dwarf planets. This opens up so many possibilities to add to our solar system because there are many different dwarf planets just like Pluto in its near vicinity. You might be thinking, wait, isn't a dwarf planet already considered a planet? Well, no, not really. Dwarf planets are not considered planets in our solar system as of the moment. Now, take a moment to visualize all the benefits of adding a whole new class of planets to our solar system, the dwarf planets. In early childhood education, this opens up a broad new spectrum of learning for the world's youth, giving them the opportunity to expand their horizons away from just our current 8 planets in the solar system. Beyond Neptune, Pluto is not the only hunk of space rock out there. There's also Eris, Ceres, Makemake, and Haumea, which are the other dwarf planets. The expansion of our solar system could also benefit the working force, adding more occupations specifically for the research and advancement of our newly found dwarf planets. Hopefully, this would spark somewhat of a renaissance of intelligence and creativity in the minds of Americans after learning about what lies beyond the well-known planets in our solar system. So now that I have you captivated in the bright future that the world we could have, I can hear you screaming at me, Evan, what can I do right now to make sure this happens and Pluto can be considered a planet again? Well, you could start by making a call to your local government. Bringing the topic to the government may be the best idea in terms of scientific advancement, because that's where all the decisions and regulations are made. To get the ball rolling and the gears turning, perhaps we could add a certain curriculum in our school systems to make sure our youth knows about the potential of what lies beyond Neptune and maybe even our known universe. Secondly, a petition could possibly be made to further any of these points, especially to the Department of Education. America cares about their children to become more aware. Well, sorry. America cares about the education and development of its youth, and I say with high hopes that they would want their children to become more aware of what resides in the solar system that we all live in. So, it may have felt like a 9.5-year journey to the end of this persuasive speech, but I assure you that it wasn't nearly that long. I hope that now you not only know more about the planets of our solar system, but also feel that Pluto and what lies beyond our known planets are more significant than what you previously thought, and what the International Astronomical Union thinks. Thanks for listening.